You sabotaged this yet again. It was right there for you. It all falls down.
I don't know what the hell just happened there, bro.
We don't even have music. You're asleep at the wheel.
No, the music is there.
Not for me, it ain't.
Oh shit! Well, hold on 1 second, bro. This is some nonsensical.
Making my job so much more difficult than you know what? We're not post editing anything out. I want everyone to see this. I want everyone to see it and learn from it because we're gonna learn from it and we're gonna be better.
There you go. Is that better?
Yeah, great, awesome.
Like Mike.
Like Mike. If I could be like Mike.
So all systems a go.
So you want to hit the trigger or no?
What trigger?
The trigger that normally starts this shebang.
Oh, that might help, huh? Considering what just happened, that just might help.
Welcome to the Broken Pencil Booking Company Pro Wrestling Podcast, infused with hip hop. I am Wood.
Made daily with organic, farm to table, localized, neuralized, sterilized, Scotch guarded for 2020 repellent, available online, shipped via Amazon, not available on Sundays, broken pencil logic. You stay classy, internet. I'm Suave Burgundy.
Is that better?
I mean,
it's gonna have to do, right?
Yeah. It's gonna have to be good. It's gonna have to be good enough.
The provider of the distribution has got to get better with cloud saving settings, bro.
My God, today.
I take some responsibility because I should know better than rely on them, but we paying for this.
Under no circumstances are we to rely or depend on anyone who isn't on this screen. If we leave it in the don't ever let it go to the referee's decision. Keep it out of the hands of the judges' scorecards. You remove all doubt. Seek and destroy.
Today's date is Friday, December 20th. Year of our Lord.
Year of our Lord.
I said year of our Lord.
Year of our Lord.
20 and 20. 4 for 4.
Like fries with that, sir.
Hold, please. You're hearing this on Monday, December 23rd. Year of our Lord.
Year of our Lord.
I said year of our Lord.
Year of our Lord.
20 and 20. 4 for 4.
Would you like to try our new spicy Caesar dressing?
Spicy Caesar, you say?
Now I'm making up stuff at this point because you didn't say nothing about the fries. So,
well, take the fries, put the Caesar dressing with it, so I can dip them in that. That's the sauce.
Pull around, cuz.
Already. Let the church say.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Those be the greatest moments when you pull into a random drive-through and somebody they doing their job, but they just not doing it by the air quotes corporate handbook. Those are my favorite people.
And they ask you something like that, and you said what? You have what?
Like they are the most effective at communicating in the entire place. But
I'll have 3 of those.
You would never put them at the front of the class for show and tell. Ever. Ever. But if you go in there and they not there, you're not even confident in your order anymore.
Nah, bro. There was a guy, shouts out to my man Bibbs in Houston. He's a professional bowler. And
you don't mean a lot.
And he from the H, and he had a story about pulling around to an unnamed establishment. And as opposed to saying "Welcome to blah 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 blah," I might take your order. My man said, "Turn the music down for this one." My man said, "Say, player, you want some chicken?"
Was this Frenchie's?
No. Let me back up. So dude places his order, as opposed to say, thank you, please drive around. My man said, already. In the drive-through.
That boy on that oil. You can't work the drive-through on that oil.
How you in the drive-through holding a double cup on the mic?
Well, you out of line. Boy, you is out of line. Oh my God.
That boy slowed and throwed, man.
That boy oiled up and draped up and dripped out in the drive.
You know what I'm talking about? Hey, this is the last time you gonna hear me say 4 for 4. So just understand something new coming for the next year.
Boy got that new queued up.
Boy, and y'all ready for it too. Y'all ready for it.
I haven't even heard it, so I'm anxiously anticipating, what it's gonna be like.
Yeah. So that might be the last time we get to hear about dipping sauce with nuggets and fries with that and all that stuff. So every year something different. We got to come with the sauce, and I got you, fam. I got you in spades. Speaking of spades, how was Bad News Brown?
2024, we hardly knew you. You gotta be careful. Bad News cheap. Like he really do. Like
certified black belt in judo.
I'm talking about just be cutting books. I mean, underbidding. It's a fun experience, but you gotta be alert. And you gotta have the right trade partner, because you mess around and get him in a tizzy, all of a sudden, he threatening people and flipping the card table, and like you can't keep doing that, man. You got Mr. Pibb on the table and all kind of stuff. You just wasting it everywhere.
Keep your eyes on me, because I'm gonna tell my partner I got 3.
See that the garbage right there. That talking the board nonsense is gonna end in fisticuffs every time. Don't spill my knee high peach with all your planning going on.
Hey, Suave's like.
No, see, me and you could probably never be paid partners because it's too easy to cheat. Because I'll be sitting there with my Jim the Anvil.
Nice.
You see what I'm talking about?
Owen's in the building.
The king of
the whole foundation popping off.
Slam award winner.
Oh man, got that.
What happened? Harley Race, Haku, Booker T, and Bret Hart are all in the car together. What do they have in common?
Crowns, please.
Absolutely.
It's ugly. Yeah, that's never in the history of ever do we need to play spades on the same side.
Now I just want to see it happen. Like,
don't be stupid. Don't not y'all listen, pencil pushers. You see us. We're trying to get into a situation to where we can actually probably do this live for thousands upon thousands of people in a venue while we talk wrestling and hip hop. Just stay tuned, man. Things are happening.
Things go on. You got that to drive this car.
Oh man. So let's take a look here. Oh, so we haven't really talked about Kofi and Xavier Woods since after the whole split up, as far as like what they doing for the people.
Because we were talking about amongst ourselves before, a brief type of hiatus that we kind of went through, where we were discussing amongst ourselves how we really weren't for the whole idea of a New Day split. Like, we felt like it was unnecessary with as much stuff as they weren't doing, and it's almost like they weren't a part of the show as much anymore, almost relegated to like semi-catering. There was really no point to breaking them up or doing the breakup angle if you were just going to end up in the same spot, just separated.
Right.
Like, you're going to have a heel turn and then still be working, 6-minute matches to help fill up space. That added to the fact that there's a certain dynamic at play with black male relationships. There's already, kind of there's another issue that hasn't been addressed that is, it's all the scuttlebutt on the internet. We'll probably get into that some other point. But there's the fact that certain relationships don't have the depth or the proper portrayal on television, and the New Day has been the exception to that to a degree. So to see that end on wrestling tropes was kind of a sore spot for us.
You're putting it mildly, we hated it.
I was trying to be, poetic. I was trying to wax poetically. Pause.
Keep it 1,000. We hated it.
Yeah, we didn't ask for this. We didn't want it. Didn't need to see it. I don't need to see them beefing about anything. Just let them go do what they're gonna do. Kobe is a first ballot Hall of Famer with or without the New Day. Xavier has all this potential in hosting as far as expanding WWE's video game division. Big E has found his new spot, whether he decides to ever lace his boots again or not. And to be perfectly honest, considering how certain people are treated and or booked, I don't think it's in his best interest to come back and work a full schedule for what?
Yeah, I'm fine as long as you don't put him in there with another super heavyweight that has a propensity to give him the same treatment that he got from Ridge Holland.
Now, in Ridge's like half-ass defense, because you can't defend what he did. He dropped the man on his head. But that's an outcome that can happen anytime he gets in the ring. If he's not going to be treated as a special attraction or with a reduced schedule, a la a Brock Lesnar, a Roman Reigns, a Randy Orton, then every time you put him in the ring, and if he's working a full-time schedule, you are likening the chances of some form of a re-injury, which is a disservice and an outright tragedy to that man if you take him through that.
Sadly, go ahead.
I'm just saying, for that reason, I'm good on him coming back, and he's really good in like the pre-fight announcer, pre-show host type of role, because obviously he has the experience from being inside the ring. He's always been a great communicator as far as promo work and just public speaking in general. So that just seems like everybody wins with the exception of Big E being injured, but he's got a way to make some paper that don't put no toll on his body other than travel.
Which I think, and I'm not putting words in anybody's mouth, just an observation.
Okay.
I think it may have been because of Big E that WWE relegated Bobby Lashley prior to his departure to AEW. And it's not because Bobby is incapable, because Bobby is a world champion in anything he decides he wants to do. Okay. He looks the part. He is the part. He has the supporting cast for the part. Cool. But the one thing Bobby Lashley does not have in his favor is Father Time. Yes, Father Time is undefeated. And Shelton Benjamin found that out the hard way. The last time Shelton Benjamin was signed to WWE, his debut was curtailed due to an injury that came out prior to his debut, like literally days before his debut, a catastrophic injury he was carrying around, and it came out in the wash. So we were delayed, I think it was close to a year and a half because of that. I don't know if that ever played into the inability for Shelton to do anything monumental while in WWE. But again, Father Time is undefeated. The older you get, the longer it takes for things to heal up. That said, you don't want to take that chance with someone who's already had like the injury of all injuries, per se. That said, with this whole New Day, actually, even going back to the original incarnation back, 10 years ago, the New Day was built on being able to craft lemonade from lemon seeds with no sugar and dirty water. All we heard was a bootleg rendition of "Do We Want a Revolution" by Kurt Franklin. What we got was the complete opposite of that, regardless of whether it was the power of positivity, whether it was pancakes, whether it was bootios, even if it was like that haphazard heel turn on behalf of like trying to side with Triple H for a moment in time. We have the best of all worlds with what's left of the New Day on TV in Woods and Kofi. That was evidenced by this past Monday on Monday Night Raw when they were outside the arena talking about the lack of appreciation for what the New Day has done. And they are playing the proper role of villains who are truly heroes. Because all they did was the one thing that good guys should never do. Superheroes, i.e., and that's tell the truth. They said it with the English language, inflection, tone, delivery, all play the outcome and how words are perceived. And if they said it monotone, whatever. The way they came at Big E, the way they came at the WWE universe showed them that A, they have character depth, and B, telling the truth draws instant heat.
So to put both of those monologues together, we hated the idea in the beginning, but the execution,
chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss, like fantastic. Absolutely fantastic execution. It's like they've been revived. It's like you. What is a perfect example of like you bought something you hated, but it turned out
I bought something that I hated.
Yeah, like
but it turned out all right.
Yeah, like I'm trying to figure out like where that will be applicable because I'm sure
I got a piece of DJ gear. It's the only DJ gear that I've ever bought twice, brand new. The Native Instruments Z2 mixer.
Okay.
When that mixer first came out, it was revolutionary in the sense that it did certain things that other mixers tried to execute on to a small scale, but taking the brains of the operation that put this out, the potential was there in 2012 when this thing dropped. Within my 45-day return window, I was like, you know what? It's there, but it ain't ready yet. Here we are in 2024, and they're still selling that thing brand spanking new. The only difference is firmware and the software updates that they've made to the operating system that they use for digital vinyl systems, which is Tractor. Now, I've gone away from Native Instruments over the years. I'm going back to Serato. No one's paying me for this. But in I think it was 2015, maybe 2016, I bought that same mixer again and was as in love with it as I hated it 3 to 4 years prior to. And it wasn't because my skill set had advanced. It was because the capabilities of the mixer were there when it was just an idea when I first bought it. And speaking of electronics, find time to tell everybody that this once again is powered by Servo Vega Pro Audio, servovega.com. Shouts out to Henry, shouts out to Gary, Los Angeles, California. servovega.com. Get all your pro audio needs for motorcycles, for your nautical, your I said boats, even your PA in your pro audio. Servo Vega got you. You know the Red Wolfers, the same people. They got you.
All of that.
Yes, sir.
Well, yeah, like
what about you? Can you think of something that you bought that you hated that you absolutely fell in love with after the fact?
Because I feel like the easiest place to find this would be something shoe related. That might be difficult for me. Like, even though I feel like I have to have some sort of event that coincides with that, like nothing comes to mind immediately, because typically when I buy shoes, I have to want them first.
Right.
Somewhere in this episode, it'll come up. But long story short, long story longer with this New Day situation. We hated the idea because we hate the idea of just breaking up people for the sake of a breakup angle. Like, it needs to mean something. And we didn't feel like you were going to put the investment into the New Day individually or collectively to where it would matter, other than just giving someone else, the audience of one, their jollies. Come to find out, it's like the New Day has taken this opportunity to reinvent themselves. Whether Big E becomes a physical part of their change or not, they've done fantastic work by saying some uncomfortable truths in public. Now, if they continue to say uncomfortable truths in public, this will be epic for them. If it stops with the conversation with Big E, I mean, it's just going to be a heel version of what they've been the last 2 to 5 years.
I don't know how they ever walk this one back. Like, we've seen factions break up and the worst things happen, and then for whatever reason, enemies, frenemies, what have you, they get back together for a common cause. With the way that this happened and the timing of which it happened on an anniversary, considering how the New Day the trajectory of the New Day was supposed to break up and just completely went left because of an unfortunate incident involving the fourth party of this group. I still don't know. I mean, I'm glad they kept it with the original 3 units, the original 3 pieces of the unit, regardless of the unfortunate circumstances surrounding said fourth person. But I don't know if you ever walk this back.
You can. And I'll tell you how. Big E's neck is going to be, no pun intended, a sensitive subject forever. If at any point you were to find out that he was capable of taking a bump,
See where you're going.
And someone teed off on Big E unexpectedly, that is your green light to switch Kofi and Woods back into New Day mode, because that's their day one partner. We can beef with our brother.
Yeah, we can do this.
Like, we said what we said, but we didn't touch that man. You touched that man, pause. So now we got business to handle. And that's
didn't I propose this with the Shield prior to Moxley's departure?
I think we've always kind of said that about the Shield, like their dynamic is we can fight amongst each other, you can't.
It's similar to the Fabulous Freebirds when they were no longer a 6-man, and Terry Gordy went the side of Dr. Death, and Michael Hayes went the route of announcing, and Buddy Roberts was just Buddy Roberts.
That part. Shout out to Jimmy Jam Garvin, because without him, I don't know where we would be as far as the Freebirds are concerned. That's to me, for a faction, that's one of the biggest misses in terms of the incorporation based on previous friendship, based on history. Because now with the Hall of Fame, we understand why Jimmy Jam Garvin was inducted into the Hall of Fame with Michael Hayes, Buddy Roberts, and Terry Gordy posthumously. Terry Gordy and Buddy Roberts posthumously, not Michael Hayes, because he was there with Jimmy Jam. But it's only because of the stories that happened in Texas why Jimmy Jam was even able to be in the conversation in WCW as one of the Fabulous Freebirds. And then, yeah, I'm with you. Like, history is everything when it comes to factions, and the more we know now, especially with the internet being at the top of everybody's mind and tip of everybody's fingertips,
the more history we have when it comes to a faction, and the more that we can play off of that online and in the real world, because everything on the internet ain't true. Just I'm about to brain break moment there for you guys if you don't already know, but
yikes.
The easier it's going to be for it to translate on television.
That part. So there's a way to there's a Uno reverse card in here somewhere. We just gave it to you what the Uno reverse card is. You can always go home again. Just we didn't want to see it, but now that the way they did it made us okay with it. Right. Like I didn't want to throw this shirt away, but I got a coupon for another one, so it don't hurt so bad.
It's still in the closet, it still fits. So in time, it's like the color ain't gonna wear off because I'm not gonna wear it too often. But when I need to put the shirt back on, I got vintage material back here that no one's gonna have access to. But you're gonna know I was down from day one.
They wasted bleach on it. The shirt is done. So
oh no,
you gotta part with the shirt, but you can buy another one and it won't cost you full price.
Oh, discounted price. All right, cool. Clearance section. I'm with it.
They wasted bleach on the shirt. It's no longer wearable, no longer suitable for public consumption.
Swab, there was a gym. There was a gym on YouTube this week. I don't know if you got a chance to catch it. Did you see the press conference from Stanford headquarters, the WWE Raw on Netflix? That was like an hour long.
I saw bits and pieces of highlights from social media, but no, I did not see the whole thing.
Man, it was a gem. I would dare say the highlight of that entire show was Bloodline 2.0, specifically Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu.
Just keep
both causing Solo to, I don't know if it was break character or just show his appreciation for his for his cohorts. But man, that was greatness.
The whole group, both bloodlines are just full of people that are absolutely having fun at life because you can tell on camera. Like a lot of this stuff is just actually real life funny if you have a sense of humor.
Tama Tonga was just that whole yeah.
Like who told him that? Because that's one of those things. Like it's almost like one of those things you would read that they would pitch through creative services, and if you heard it out loud described, it would sound almost R-word. But then to have the right person execute it, it's like, okay, no, that's funny.
Yeah, the execution in this is just spot on. The fact that we're dealing with two versions of the same faction, because you're not going to break up a bloodline. Let's just keep it buck. Like you ain't all family ain't your blood and all blood ain't your family, but at the same time, y'all got something in common, and it's the same. It's the same group. It's 9 individuals right now. Well, really, it's 7 individuals right now. If you really want to keep it a buck.
What's your 7? What's your 7 right now?
First off, there's your daily acknowledgement.
I was over here just because it was bloodline conversation in general. You always acknowledge. But go ahead. Yes.
So the OTC, Roman Reigns. Jimmy and Jay.
Okay.
Paul.
Okay.
And then we got I might be off by one if we include Paul. Jacob, Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, and Solo. So that's 8.
Yeah. If you're gonna include the wise man, you might as well include the adopted cousin.
Yeah, I mean, because there's history there too on the family side. So, yeah, there you go.
So just the fact that there's a storyline that has carried itself over 4 years and has put 10 people on,
and you got more to go. We got
people and story.
Yeah, we got things that need to go into the clip.
At some point, Super Mega Big Oo's got to show back up.
We still got
which that should be coming here soon.
We've still got Zilla waiting in the wings. We still got Hikalea waiting in the wings.
Lance is in NXT.
I mean, and then Ava is literally like she's running NXT on TV.
Journey running around here somewhere.
And
it's
then
a lot of
Rikishi is now really the patriarch.
There's a lot of them. If you
there's moving parts upon moving parts. Bolts and screws make the bicycle move, a great man once said. But one thing we did find out on that show, though,
what's that?
Is that someone who recently announced a retirement came back and announced a new home after a 4-month hiatus.
We're gonna start calling them Big Psych. There's some hip hop for you.
Yeah, speaking of hip hop, I mean, look at it. The LP drops a new hit. Logan Paul announces that he's not just back, but he's going to be a new assignee to Monday Night Raw.
So in the delivery room, he said he was retired. Apparently, because I don't keep up.
It was an Instagram post. He said, like, dude, I'm a dad now, or something to that effect.
Oddly enough, after he teased that whole retirement thing, I didn't remember seeing a lot of Prime branding at Survivor Series.
No, they still had a hydration station, but it wasn't like on the.
But you didn't have the huge logos in the center of each ring, though.
Bro, that I saw, if I'm not mistaken, on Saturday night's main event, I believe one of the matches was sponsored by C4 while they had a Prime hydration station next to the
yes, that's what made me think about it. I was like, oh, like, it's a whole competitor in the same. Like, no, this is actually another energy drink.
A whole other energy drink.
Like, wait, what?
What?
So I guess when you retired, you null and voided the whole agreement with Prime, and then next thing you know, he's unretired and coming to Raw. What?
Sheesh.
You think I'm going to give him this Prime money? Sheesh.
So who are we going to see? Do we even care who Logan Paul is going to beef with on Monday Night Raw? Because I mean, keep it a buck, man. You may not like the guy, but he gives us some matches. More like he doesn't really give us matches. He gives us moments in matches.
He's made for this world. He is made for the professional wrestling and the world of professional wrestling as it exists in Stamford.
John Bones Jones, what's the other guy? Conor McGregor, guys who were earmarked to make the transition, never made it. Meanwhile, this guy who's never done MMA decides he wants to do a couple of celebrity boxing matches, does a couple of WrestleMania moments, signs a contract, becomes a U.S. champion, has some knockout moments with some high flyers like Ricochet at the Royal Rumble, which is, man. I mean, the boy is, and he really likes what he does, because you can't give that much athleticism to something that you hate. It's not feasible for someone to do that. It's not reasonable for someone to do that.
Better 1 year novice phenom, Logan Paul or Ronda Rousey?
Oh, easily Logan Paul, because I can watch a Logan Paul match. It was hard to watch Ronda Rousey. I don't care what she did at WrestleMania.
That first year from WrestleMania to WrestleMania, I ain't gonna front, buddy. That's
agree to disagree, because I'm not a fan. I was not a fan of her work.
From WrestleMania 31 to 35, Ronda was outside.
She was outside, but I was not a fan of her work. I didn't want her talking on the microphone. I barely want to see her in the ring.
Well, me and you had a stalemate, because that's about how I feel about Logan Paul.
I don't like the guy either, but like I can watch him.
We're gonna have to do a dive on this, because I feel like something ain't right. Something ain't adding up here.
Bike to bike. That's another segment we're gonna come up with, the bike to bike.
There you go. Yeah, write that down.
Yeah.
The bike to bike. You got the head up comparison. Pause. Bike to bike. But your question, you were about to ask me something about who do I think Logan Paul will be dealing with?
Yes.
I mean, you just gotta look at the list and see who's not occupied. Who's the biggest star who doesn't have something to do? So Rollins.
Ooh, hold that, because we can answer that question with this next segment. There we go. I wasn't ready for this one quite yet.
Okay.
But here goes. The WWE transfer portal.
So, for those of you who don't know what's been going on, they have opened the doors about basically open swaps and people leaving shows and show hopping or show bopping, depending on what part of the country you're from. And I said it was genius of TKO and WWE to take this approach, seeing as though the college transfer portal is all the rage, sends a certain group of people into an absolute tizzy that all these kids have the opportunity to make their own choices and make their own money and have to, have the freedom that some of kids have to just jump and bounce back and forth between jobs and opportunities. It's just free enterprise, and now the people who are responsible for generating the money get to participate too.
And before we get too deep into the WWE side of this, let's have a real moment here real quick. Not that anything we talk about ain't real. I mean, because we real. A couple of days ago, it was announced that junior college athletes, when they transferred to four-year universities, retain 4 years of eligibility.
Fire.
So,
love it.
Let me give you a scenario.
Love it.
Standout star athlete from an impoverished neighborhood and a very impoverished background, barely keeping the lights on, single parent home, possibly, maybe both parents are there, who knows? But the man's a star athlete, and he goes to a high school where education isn't paramount, but he does make legitimately good grades, but he's not the best student. Standardized test scores, things of that nature. And it prevents him from being eligible or even a great candidate for a D1 Power 5 school. What does he do? Option is go to junior college. You go to junior college, not only do you fine-tune your natural ability with learned abilities, but you also fine-tune your study habits. You learn to become a better student athlete, because it is student athlete, not athlete student. I digress. Mm-hmm. You take those 2 years, you get a bag, NIL. Sound familiar? And then you parlay that after you get your associate's degree into a 4-year university. First 2 years of your 4-year college, one of those could be a redshirt year. Hell, any of the 4 years could be a redshirt year. So now you're there for 5 years. Within the 5 years, naturally, you have NIL money from JUCO. You can get a bigger NIL deal to Power 5 school. No question. That's what's happening. That's why people are moving from school to school. It's about the money. It's keep it 1,000. It's about money, and it's about exposure. And there's a little bit of opportunity in there too. You get your bachelor's degree. You still have 2 years eligibility and a redshirt year. By the time you graduate school, you will have the possibility of having not only a master's degree, if you're a really hard worker, a doctorate degree, NIL money, and the ability to, if you're taking care of multiple things, at bare minimum, you can walk out with a cash car. But if you do it right, you can walk out with a car and a house paid for in full with degrees and an opportunity to join the workforce, going against the statistics and being a contributing member of this society. Fam, I don't know if anybody even thought about breaking it down like that off the top of the head. That only sounds logical and reasonable, but it sounds like the way to go. Bruh, Baggington Securitas Online won. I love it for these student athletes.
No, this is fire. And a lot of people are only looking at it from the perspective of football players, which, number one, that's not the only sport that takes place at a collegiate level. And number two, you're looking at it from the most extreme potential as far as things like NIL money and how it affects student athletes. Like, there are track stars who are going to have the opportunity to become light years better and have exposure to more training, more coaching, you're gonna get some super athletes out of this, if for no other reason because they have more time within a structured environment. Now, I don't know how JUCO handles NIL, because since they're not technically NCAA, their rules aren't quite the same. But I don't have any doubt that something similar to an NIL type situation exists within JUCO, so that you can make that money on a lower level to sustain yourself. And if it doesn't exist now, it will exist soon.
Well, keep in mind there are multiple governing bodies for college athletics, like the NAIA and the NCAA. In junior college, there is the NJCAA, which does have NIL deals in place. They also have a marketplace for NIL deals.
There's also the FAFO.
Will you stop?
I'm just saying, bro. Straight out of high school, FAFO.
You will and have.
Continuously.
And at the same time. Oh, bro. At any rate, so back on the transfer portal for WWE.
Yes.
We've seen conversations happen backstage with Adam Pearce and as well as Nick Aldis.
Mm-hmm.
From a conversation that seemingly looks like, who was that backstage? Why are they back here? To the next thing they popping up on your favorite show. Case in point, Braun Strowman coming out of obscurity to show up on SmackDown as a quote-unquote latest signee. Logan Paul loses the U.S. Championship, which is property of SmackDown, to now becoming Raw's latest superstar via the transfer portal at this press conference. A couple other people were seen talking backstage at different shows, and I can't put my finger on it just quite yet, but those two are top of mind because of the events of this week. Mm-hmm. The person that's going to be best suited for Logan Paul, to me, is going to be someone coming from the transfer portal. My question to you, Suave, is who do we want to see in the transfer portal going from where to where?
Now, are we okay? Tell me what we're doing first. Are we addressing who's next for Logan Paul first, or who do I want to see jump back and forth through the portal?
Either or, because I don't think there's anybody, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, unless we see a debut on Monday Night Raw that's suited for Logan Paul. I can't see anybody on the Monday Night Raw roster that needs to hop in, a feud or even like short term or long term with Logan Paul.
Well, your list is going to be very short because you have to have a certain package to put in front of Logan Paul. It has to be someone who can speak. You cannot let him go buck wild cutting promos against someone who is not as skilled. We saw what happened to Ricochet.
And he's not as skilled, and the last thing you want him to do is cook you. Continue.
That part. Like somebody like The Miz would fricassee him, but you don't have a lot of those. So, okay, there's one, The Miz.
Well, we've seen that, though.
I mean, but he's got a new crew. It might be different with Karrion.
And we know that what that's going to be.
I mean, yeah, we do, but here's the thing: there's nothing that's going to turn Logan Paul into a face.
Here's the thing:
his attitude, his presentation, him as a general human being is not going to allow you to turn him into like a John Cena in training. It just doesn't.
Never.
It just doesn't work that way. So The Miz would be one. I'd actually be interested to see the internet version of Karrion Kross. Something with Logan Paul.
That is a whole different animal.
Completely different Karrion Kross. Like there's Karrion Kross, and then we have Karrion Kross at home. Totally different. Honestly, who really could benefit from it, because the person has to be able to speak. They have to be able to put on a decent performance inside the ring, and they have to matter, meaning they're figured into the long term, and WWE would probably be willing to put some money behind them in one position or another. Damian Priest. Damian Priest working with Logan Paul is a big deal. And at some point, if you could get Bad Bunny involved, because we do know of that history, there's real life history with that.
Oh, you know the bag that we printed at Mania for that one.
You see what I'm saying? When I'm
that is a oh man, that is
controversy creates cash. Quote Eric Bischoff. So there's money to be made. It's about, are you going to pull the trigger? Who's writing the story? And, you know, so forth and whatnot. But you have an opportunity to make a couple things happen. As far as who I want to see jump back and forth through the portal, I think Carmelo Hayes has to get the hell off SmackDown.
Quickly.
At this point, to me, it doesn't matter where the Street Profits are. They're not used properly, but let's get them back. See if we can't start this again.
I'm glad you brought them up. Do you think that they could benefit, or would it be stocked down if Carmelo Hayes got into a faction with Street Profits?
If done properly, I'm certain it could work, but dynamic.
Because it gives B-Fab more credibility as a manager to have a singles competitor with them, and then they become a family of sorts.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know if their entire chemistry and presentation would have to change for me to feel like this is a group of people I want to see together on another show, versus we just move them as a pack. They just all happen to ride in the same car. That's not the same. That's not what I need on TV.
No, not the same.
You guys need to have some chemistry and like some performance attributes to yourselves as a collective. I could even see that being the way that you end up with Montez Ford as a single, if he hops in the portal just himself. And then the other show says, no, well, we don't want the other guy. But
who else you thinking?
Rey Mysterio, like take the LW. Where is the LWO now? They're on Raw.
They're on Raw.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
And as a unit, I mean, they're floundering similar to the path that the LWO did in WCW. Like nobody has any titles. No one's in a trajectory to get a title. They're not even in the tag team title hunt, let alone singles title hunt. Like I think that Zelina Vega should be in line for Intercontinental Champion sometime soon. She's got she's got history, but does that mean that they're going to put that kind of credence on the type of worker that she is to give her a work rate title?
Nope. You know better.
And I hate it.
You absolutely know better. Puerto Rican Liv Morgan is essentially what's been assigned to her. And yeah, when you're on the same brand as your counterpart, part shining, you can't be on at the same time. Unfortunately, somebody else who could jump in the portal and it actually matter. Judgment Day jumping to SmackDown would be interesting.
That gives them a whole new dynamic.
You see what I'm saying? Like Judgment Day making that transition to SmackDown, I think might be a good look for them, especially if you have an influx of Bloodline coming to Raw, which we know that's what's been rumored. Rumor that Netflix has, requested Roman Reigns' presence. So there's going to be less TV time to go around for some people because, Bloodline's why we're here.
And we're allegedly going to 3 hours on SmackDown. That's yet to be seen, but we know that.
That's a revenue thing, so we knew it was coming.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, we know the ramifications of what's been happening the last 12 years since Raw's been 3 hours on the USA Network. So going to Netflix and getting a piece of that $24 premium is going to be amazing, considering 80% of the world's population is going to have access to that, and that's going to be in part to WWE. A large cart.
Math. That's baller math right there. You got somebody you want to see jump in the portal and hop from one show to the other? Who's underutilized for you?
Underutilized?
Or not even, it doesn't have to be underutilized, but just someone who needs a fresh perspective on a different show, or someone you think that would make a splash by jumping. This would have been perfect for Bronson Reed to get in the portal and jump to SmackDown.
Rhea Ripley could give some depth to the SmackDown roster. Because I'm sick of seeing her with Raquel Rodriguez. I'm sick of seeing her with Liv Morgan. But we know she's about to get the belt. I just think that her depth could be better used, and the women's division would be leveled up. I mean, they're already stacked over on SmackDown anyway, but they'll be leveled up with Rhea Ripley over there.
Charlotte Flair is currently a SmackDown talent. I think her popping in the portal to end up on Raw is a good look.
I disagree with that. I think that she needs to stay on SmackDown to well, actually, you know what? I take that back. If we can get Rhea Ripley on SmackDown, then Charlotte Flair definitely needs to go to Monday Night Raw.
I think both of them on Raw is probably the better look.
So who do you move? Because you can't have both of those people on, because that gives you Liv, that gives you Charlotte, that gives you Rhea.
I'm saying you move Liv and Raquel as a part of the Judgment Day move.
Oh, so you take Judgment Day. Got you. Okay, so Liv goes over there. Perfect. And without the belt, of course.
Yes. I can definitely see Kevin Owens using the portal as a way to get out of SmackDown. Because at some point he's gonna have burnt his candle at both ends. When the flame meets in the middle, it might be time to make that jump.
And he's better suited for a no holds barred type of situation, television wise. If he goes off the handle, and even though they're saying on Netflix they're planning on keeping the same rating and keeping the same type of product, if there's ever an opportunity to fly off the handle, you want to do it when there's eyes on the product who don't mind someone like Kevin Owens going back to Kevin Steen.
Yeah, that to address that whole the ratings not changing. I mean, realistically, we knew. In a very realistic sense. Like, we got our hopes up thinking like, okay, it's Netflix, you might get a few extra curse words here, or at least maybe they might actually take that third hour more serious, like they had said before, like the third hour, because it's because of the time window that you get more adult style presentation, like the difference between Raw is War and the War Zone and things like that. Like, you might actually get progressively more mature as the night goes on. But we knew, who spends money for those live houses? It's majority. It's parents bringing their kids. So there's only so much.
We're parents bringing our kids.
Right. Of course, there's a different type of entertainment I would like just for myself as a wrestling fan. However, that doesn't exist anymore. That's why I have an ECW archive of DVDs. I know there's another time I can go partake in that doesn't suit this particular time. That's why the Attitude Era is available on the cock. Pause. You're not going to get that now. The world is just different. It's unfortunate. That's probably the space that AEW might want to look to occupy, especially if you can get some stuff exclusively on Max. But yeah, we knew live WWE shows were not about to get a blast and an infusion of 1998. I
really hope it is everything we hoped it to be. I did before when I jump off the handle. I did catch some news about them slowly trickling all of the AEW content and pay-per-views over to Max, starting with the first couple of years of AEW programming from TBS and TNT. And it didn't specify if AEW Dark was going to be on there or not, but the first 2 years are saying that there is eventually going to be the first products that we're going to be able to see from a story perspective. So you can kind of see the inauguration to the progression of AEW over the first couple of years, which that's cool for the casual fan to get caught up on, or for someone who never was really into the product in the early days. can familiarize themselves with some of the talent that have come and or gone over the years. Back on track though, talking about the transfer portal, here's something that we have completely skipped over, not because we forgot about it, but it's because life been life and we've been, short on shows lately. WWE has introduced a new program called WWE ID, which is a designation to help guide new trainees and current talent with advanced developmental resources.
It's getting them to sign the letter of intent. Like WWE has turned into a college recruiting athletic program at this point.
And if you don't believe what Suave was saying on that, the ID stands for independent development, which, considering the path that the WWE Network was on a few years ago when they had Progress and Evolve and organizations from around the world on the network in real time, not necessarily live, but you had some of their programming in real time on the network, and all of a sudden it disappeared. There's currently, as of the end of November, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 20 talents that have been signed to WWE ID or listed as WWE ID talents from different independent organizations. Most notably, Kylie Ray, who has spent time in NXT as well as TNA over the few years, and she's probably the most storied of anyone that has been in and out of the WWE system, or in and out of prominence on exposure. But some of the organizations that are represented by some of this talent: Beyond Wrestling, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, Wrestling Open, This Is Wrestling, City Championship Wrestling, Future Stars of Wrestling, Game Changer Wrestling, GCW. Yes, there's a couple of GCW talents that are on there. International Wrestling Cartel, Pro Wrestling Noah, you know that name, of course. Freelance Wrestling, Lionsgate, and Millennium Pro, and Combat Zone, which is another name that you know very well. Some of the schools. Now, here's where it gets more interesting. Black and Brave Wrestling out of Davenport, Iowa. You got to have some Midwest representation. Elite Pro.
You know who school?
Pro Wrestling. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You know who school that is, right?
No, sir.
Seth freaking Rollins. That's his academy. Black and Brave.
Davenport, Iowa. That makes sense.
I think he also has a coffee shop that's either similar or there's something else that has to do with that. But yeah, that's Seth's school.
Elite Pro Wrestling Training Center out of Concord, New Hampshire. Okay. Not familiar with that one, but I'm sure somebody of prominence is involved there, especially considering its location. These three you're very familiar with. Knox Pro Entertainment and Academy, Van Nuys, California. You know who that is, don't you?
School me to the science.
That's Rikishi.
Ah, okay.
All day, that's Rikishi.
Okay.
The Nightmare Factory out of McDonough, Georgia.
Well, we know who that is.
That's Cody and Dustin. And last but certainly not least, out of Texas City, Texas, H-Time, Reality of Wrestling, ROW. Dr. Huffman's organization.
These all make sense because as far as we know, Dr. Huffman's been feeding WWE talent for the last 2 decades now.
I mean, and his right now his star pupil is over wreaking havoc on NXT, and that's the prodigy Roxanne Perez, better known to Texas alum as Roxy.
And then there's that.
So then there's also the dissolution of NXT Level Up, as this week's episode is their last. It's being replaced with a reality show on A&E called Legends and Future Greats, which features competitors who are being mentored by Triple H, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Mickie James, and Booker T. So I'm sure now Reality of Wrestling, which has syndication across the state of Texas, will also have a larger audience, as I'm sure that they'll get some footage, if not some talent, in real time with some other WWE ID talent on Legends of Future Greats LFG. Not sure how I feel about seeing that on A&E, but A&E has been producing some stellar WWE product over the last 5 years.
Yeah, I don't have much issue with their production department. I haven't seen anything that's really egregious. Yeah, so I'll at least give them the courtesy of checking it out to see whether or not it's worth me putting on the schedule.
And then while we're still in WWE, big shouts out, especially because Texas, War Raiders, your new World Tag Team Champions.
Well, you can take a year off of TV as a team, come back in less than a month, you can be tag champs.
Let's be clear. Let's just not just gloss over the fact that both of them had possible career-threatening, career-ending injuries and came back after surgery to reinvent themselves, or not reinvent, but to reemerge themselves as talent that we used to. They're not War Machine. Let's keep it a buck. They'll never be War Machine again. But using things like a finisher that's named War Machine gives you glimpses of War Machine. But they've been gone so long, and the way that they've come back made you forget about the Viking Raiders, which I'm so thankful for.
Yeah, like it's nothing against them whatsoever. Like, congratulations and welcome back. My statement was more to highlight the fact that if you want someone to be in a certain position, there is nothing stopping you from making that happen. And because there is nothing stopping you from making that happen, sometimes the fan bases need an explanation as to why things aren't progressing for certain talent. There's a level of transparency. If we're supposed to treat this like a real sport and give it the credence and all, and you want it on ESPN and you want the whole thing we've discussed about, you need actual wrestling media. The way you have real MMA, real UFC media, you want real media outlets. There's going to need to be some level of transparency. So my whole reason behind saying that the way I said it was, so what are we doing with the Street Profits? Gonna do. That was my whole point. Like, you got Montez Ford out here trying to talk to you through Twitter with no captions. Like, what are your plans? Are we sitting around biding time? You gonna let the contract expire? Do you not have anything for them creatively? Have they rubbed somebody the wrong way? Have they shot down plans that you might have drummed up for them? Or was it the fact that they were attached to somebody that left on terms that were less than amicable, and now they're suffering the backlash?
Yeah.
It's weird. You have no reason.
Retaliation is an opinion in the world of corporations, man. Like, they can say, do not retaliate. It looks different when it's in motion. There's always excuses, but never no real reasons.
I just can't get no explanation as to like why. Nobody's hurt because they're still wrestling. Like, they're on TV, but they had no traction, no motion, no direction. No.
And I like B-Fab, but wait, why is she that? Why they got her floundering? You just get the bag, of course, get the money, but
yeah, keep showing up to work and keep getting paid. That we don't. Nobody's saying stage a sit in or a walkout. Keep getting money, but can we get something? Can we get something?
Substance, if you will.
Something of substance, please and thank you.
And then shouts out to Raymond Rowe, also, aka also known as Eric from War Raiders. Him and Sarah Logan, better known as Valhalla now, welcomed their second child into the world during the hiatus and the recovery of the War Raiders. So congratulations on that.
All the above.
Yeah. We always here for the kids. Man, do we even want to go into any more of this? Because this, I mean, we got plenty more material. You want another one real quick?
You know what we can end on? And we had this conversation during the last show. We need that Mount Rushmore of I don't give a. We'll do the wrestling version this time.
All right. right now on that Mount Rushmore.
Wait. Just to make this a sporting event. No repeats. Coin flip.
Oh no.
Alternating.
We doing 4 or 5.
Traditional Mount Rushmore 4.
Okay, hold please.
You got to add some excitement around here. Da-da-da.
All right, let's see here.
So for those of you listening, as the coin flip is being pulled up, last episode we had this conversation about people who really don't give a. Shout out to Trav out of 7th. That's who spawned this. So then we had the idea that said, you know what? Let us make a Mount Rushmore mixtape of people we know in real life who don't give a, and then from the wrestling world. So now we're going to give you the wrestling world, and I threw a few caveats in there. So we will go alternating picks, no repeats, which means if I say wrestler A can no longer be used on anybody's list but mine. You know it.
So we both get 4?
4. So there will be 8 individual people who do not give a. For whatever reason, whatever your reasoning is going to be, we're going to leave that where it is. I'm just ready for this coin flip because I need to make sure I get my first.
Heads for Suave, tails for me.
Pause.
Wow, you're a child. All right, up in the air, going up, coming down. It is tails. Now we're going with active competitors or all time.
It could be whatever you want.
Ooh, I like active. I like active because we can come back for all time at a later date.
Man, it completely throws a monkey wrench in what I was going to do.
All right, tell you what, because this is change all the time. Somebody can grow a compass. Let's go all time.
Okay, yeah. Now I'm ready for this.
All right. Number 1. You're gonna hate me for this.
Oh shit!
Look at the screen.
Nope.
Look at the screen.
Some bullshit. Man, log off. You said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this shit no more. You did this shit on purpose. That's yeah.
I got this man cursing. No, it was an honest coin flip. You know what we do.
I'm out. I ain't want to do this.
You gonna take it to the house? That's what you gonna do?
I'm gonna show you how I don't give a.
Rest in peace, New Jack. Number one.
That's that bullshit right there.
I got this man cursing. He ain't cursed the entire show. An hour and change. This man decides he wants to drop up like 88 S-bombs.
Yeah,
in succession.
So now you see out there in podcast and video cast world, you see how I feel when I'm triggered, and I've been triggered.
What Mike say? Read the shirt.
Mike ain't saying nothing since he got that 20 mil, and he shouldn't. I don't give a. Give me Ric Flair because he don't care about his health or anybody else's.
Let's see here. I like it. Let's see who else we got. I got New Jack. You got Ric Flair.
Mm-hmm.
It's too easy for me to stay in ECW, but I'm not going to do that. It's too easy. What's that man's name? Oh, I'm missing one here. Rest in peace. This man got in trouble for not giving a you know what. Jamin Pugh, aka Jay Briscoe. He's definitely on Mount Rushmore. Don't give a you know what.
Mick Foley.
Great one.
Mick Foley, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, you allow yourself to get dumped off a cage. You lose an ear in a dynamite or exploding barbed wire match. Yeah, you don't care. Like you're on a plane smelling like burnt death.
Just Mick Foley. Yeah, for obvious reasons. Who you got?
Let's go to the islands. Haku.
Okay.
the king of mess around and find out.
I see what you're doing. I've had a pretty well-rounded list so far. I think for a not so obvious reason, but if you watch Dark Side of the Ring, you absolutely know that this man gives no F's. Ole Anderson.
As a talent, as a booker, and as a human being.
As a record label and as a mother and crew.
Now, I'm really torn over this one.
Okay.
I could go wrestler, but he's done so much for wrestling that even his mouth got him in trouble.
Oz.
And he's like one of the biggest historians ever, and is still relevant today because of his mouthpiece pause.
That was the one I should have gone with instead of Ole.
James E. Cornette.
Yep. Good pick. Good pick. This is my fourth and my last one.
Yep. Make it count.
At this point, I've lost two of my top three draft picks already. One because I lost the coin toss, and two because I went to sleep at the wheel. I'm gonna take this opportunity and quite honestly, I'm probably gonna have to roll credits after this.
I'm scared.
Depending on how you rank these people, the overall number one leader in IDGAF activity, Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Oh my God. Show at brokenpencilbc.com, brokenpencilbc@gmail.com. That's at brokenpencilbc on all things social, at brokenpencilbc on what?
Everything.
Everything.
Mm-hmm. Dang. You trigger me, and this is what happens.
Boy,
hurt people.
Violence. Hurt people who hurt people. Good Lord. Let me run it back for the people one good time. For my Mount Rushmore of IDGAF, I got New Jack, Jay Briscoe, Haku, and Jim Cornette. Suave, you have Ric Flair, Mick Foley, Ole Anderson, and Vince McMahon. What's crazy is my list is 50% deceased. Yours is 25% deceased. Either way, that's
That's a tournament. The Great Eight.
Jeez.
Write that down. That's a show we'll put in the can.
You gotta do you have any honorable mentions
for IDGAF?
Yes.
People that come to mind, like a Stan Hansen.
So funny because seeing him on interviews as just Stan is a sweetheart. Pause.
As far as an on-screen character, Steve Austin, without question.
Sandman was the second one that came to mind from ECW, but that was just too easy.
The Rock in real life.
But he has that money. He has that money.
Yeah, FU money.
Yeah. Who else? Bob Roop comes to mind.
Bob Holly. Bob Holly.
Yep. Hugh Morris comes to mind.
True.
Who else just doesn't care? Samoa Joe really doesn't care.
No, I think he cares. I just think he's an adult. Like he's the grown man in the room.
Okay, I can buy that.
I feel like Terry Funk at times did not care.
I think Dory cared less than Terry.
Well, then there's that. If it wasn't softball related, Sid Vicious.
Yeah. There's there's big step outside with me energy with Sid Vicious.
Jim Hellwig did not care.
Oh man, Jesse Ventura still doesn't care. He cared enough to come back because he wanted to do it for his children, but the reasons why he left and stayed gone.
Honorable mention who don't give a fuck. I know we're missing somebody.
Please chime in, because if we're missing somebody, we will talk about it on the next episode and include them in the tournament.
We definitely taking this 8 to the tournament. Definitely.
Yeah. That's wild, bro. That's a wild 8
for so many reasons.
Yeah, I don't know of anybody that could knock out Vincent McMahon though.
New Jack is the closest one I can think of. That's my number 1 pick.
And we had
and even New Jack ain't got no court papers on this.
I'm saying we had knowing that brother, man, for the short time, but whew. Oh, I tell you, somebody that should be on this list.
Who's that?
Buddy Landell.
Wow. That's a deep cut. That's a real deep cut. If you know,
his career never flourished because of who he was as a person. And he was earmarked for greatness.
Tony Atlas.
That's the flip side of the coin right there. He doesn't care.
See?
How you married with a foot fetish for other women?
Listen, that man likes what he likes.
He likes what he likes. All right, man. Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year. We'll catch you on the flip side with a whole new date entry or intro. My brother, nothing but love for you, man. Take him to the house.
You're a thief. You're a thief and a vagabond and
this is what I get for showing my heartfelt salutations and gratitude towards my partner and Sahab.
I accept and reciprocate all of those well wishes and things of that nature. However, you're a child and you steal.
Capital.
Okay, steal with a capital S. Hey, pencil pushers, like, rate, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend, and then tell that friend again.
Hold on. I had a little fun here. Wait for it. There you go.
Okay. Space bar using. Pencil pusher. Heads up. Pencils down. Enjoy your families. Stay safe. Stay out the way. All that good stuff. Happy holidays to those of you who are multicultural. This, that, and the other.
And if you're a Jehovah's Witness, continue on your mission.
I know this guy over here. Just as long as we keep him away from the airport and keep his passport hid, we'll be back for the next show. See, he's a child and he steals.
No promises.
That's absolute foolishness.
Whole lot of fucking gang shit.